If you're brand new to Monday.com and you use their AI tools to set up all of your boards, unfortunately, you're probably missing something. More recently, I've seen a lot of newcomers to Monday.com have AI set everything up for them, but then they don't understand how Monday works. And the reason that it's so critical to understand how Monday works is because if you need to make changes, teach it to people on your team, or actually build upon it to make it even more complex than AI can offer, you need to understand the basics. So in this video, we're going to go through those basics so you have a clear understanding of how the platform works. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tara. I'm the founder of a company called Simple Day. For the past 4 years, we've helped hundreds of companies use Monday.com. We do custom implementations. We understand how the platform works. If you need any help with a custom implementation of setting up Monday.com, feel free to reach out. My contact information is in the description below. And now let's jump in. I first want to start by explaining the different products within Monday. So you can see over here in the top left that I'm in the work management product. Now, Monday has a number of different products. If you click over here on the product switcher, you can see that there's work management, and essentially that is to manage all of your different tasks and projects. CRM, which is used to manage your pipeline, your leads, your customers. Dev, which is used for development teams. Service, which is used for a ticketing system, and campaigns. Campaigns is connected to the CRM, and it's essentially like email marketing within Monday. So those are the different products that Monday has to offer. Now, within each product, you have workspaces. So if I click over here, and then I click on Browse All, you can see that here I have all of my different workspaces, and it tells me which product it's in. A workspace is like a really big folder that has all of your information within it. So sometimes I see teams do something like the finance team will have a workspace, the operations team will have a workspace. Different teams will have different workspaces, but essentially it's a big folder. Now, within every single workspace, so here you can see I'm in the demo workspace, I have a bunch of boards. If I scroll down here, you can see these are all my different boards. There are other things that you can add in here, which we'll get into, but essentially this is a list, a table of contents of everything that is in my workspace. Now, on top of workspaces and also on top of products is you have all of the Monday AI features. All of these AI features work with all of the different products. So you can have Sidekick within CRM or within work management. You can have workflows within CRM or within Dev. All of the AI features, again, live on top of the products. Now, let's jump into what the base is of Monday, and that's a board. So here you can see here that I'm in something called a board. Now, the basic structure of a board is that it has different groups, and you can see here, I only have one group here. If I want to add a new group, I simply add new group. I'm also going to delete it. And now you can see the structure of Monday. The basic structure is within a board, you have a number of groups. Now, within each group, you have items. So here you can see I have different line items. Here I have an item to create a logo, pay a deposit on a hotel. These are the different line items within that group. Now, I also can create sub-items. So you can see here that if I click on this down arrow that I have sub-items. Monday actually also released multi-sub-item boards, but they're not part of a standard board. It's a standalone board, so I'm not going to go into that, but just so you know, that is another option. Now, within every board, you have columns. So here you can see I have a column called Batman, called Robin, called status, called due date. And there's a lot of different kinds of columns. And these columns allow you to do things within Monday. They're used for automations, for seeing data in clean ways that you want to, setting reminders. There's all different kinds of columns. So here you can see some of the most popular ones that are ones that I showed you. I also have a time tracking column. Now, if you want to add a column, I simply click on the plus button and I can go to more columns. And here you can see that I have the column center. This shows me all of the different kinds of columns that I can use on my Monday board. So there's really a lot of different kinds of columns. Now, there also are AI columns. This is something that's relatively new because as Monday has been releasing all of these AI features, so you can also have AI columns within your board. So let's just say I want a column to summarize everything. So I can simply add that to my board. Now I would need to set up the settings over here, decide like what's exactly being summarized, what are my instructions, like any AI tool. You need to give a prompt to it. But what I can create is these AI columns. So a really simple example is usually in my CRM, I have first name, last name come in, but I want to separate the first name so I can extract the first name into a separate column. That's an AI column that I used that extracts data for me. Let's review. We have a board that has groups, and then we have different line items. We can have sub items, and then we have columns. Now, boards also have different views. So as the default, you always have your main table. Your main table shows you everything going on the board. You can see here, I can see all the groups, all the items, and all of the columns that I have on my board. But then I can create different views. So for example, I created something called My Daily View here. And what I did is I used the filter. And here you can see there's a quick filter and there's also an advanced filter where I can set specific settings about what I want to see. I can hide certain columns. So here you can see I've decided to hide a few of the columns. And I also grouped the information in a different way. Remember, we had those groups. So now I changed it based on my status. Just to show you how it works, I can go here and let's just say I want to change it up based on priority. And here you can see that I have different groups. But essentially, I have a view of everything going on that's important that I need to see. So I hid certain columns, I filtered out other information because I only want to see what's important to me. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of views that you can add. You can have a Gantt chart, a calendar, different charts, but you can also add a dashboard. Now, when you add a dashboard, this allows you to add different dashboards or widgets as they're called, so you understand different metrics as on your board. Now here you can see that you have the AI tool asking you what you want to build, or you can just add a widget manually. So if I just click on this, let's just say here you can see the default that it added, and it's just going to build out dashboards. But dashboards are critical because they show you exactly what's going on in your project. Yeah, you may have a million different tasks, but you may want to see more details. So here you can see with just a click of a few buttons, I have more information. How many open items do I have? What's the task breakdown by status? How many of my tasks did I complete? Now, these are dashboards that you can also export, and you can also schedule and export to a PDF. You also have the option to share these views. If you want to share them or embed them, you have the option to do that. Now, one of the newer features that they have here is Monday also has something called Build with Vibe. Essentially, what you can build is you're building an app on top of this board. So this board is the database of the information, and then you're building an app that allows you to see things in different ways. This is essentially vibe coding, which is using AI to build something out. So I have a lot more freedom and flexibility to build out exactly what I want. Now, I've seen a lot of people start with a vibe, which is really great because you see it exactly how you want. The colors may be what you want, the layout, but you don't have the background of the board to support that vibe. It's critical that you also have the background to support that vibe. A few other things to keep in mind on a board, and this is one of the most critical things, I think, is communication. So how do you communicate with people on your team? What Monday has is they have something called the update section, and you can see here that there's just a list of updates, and it's an ongoing list, and it has a date, and I can simply tag someone or mention someone on my team. So I can say something like, @Rosa, when will this be completed? And I can update it, and she will get a notification that I left that message for her. And this is essentially how you communicate on Monday. Now, up here, if you click on these three dots, you have a whole bunch of options like seeing your activity log, having a discussion based on everything going on the board. You have different permission settings. You have different settings for the board. Like you can rename the board, you can add it as your favorites, you can change the board type. This is something really important that people don't understand. There's three different types of boards. The first board is a main board. Every single person on your team can see a main board. The second is a shareable board. A shareable board means that anyone that's outside of your organization, but that has access to your Monday account can see it. So this is great for a freelancer. And the last is a private board. You can only share it with people on your team. And you can see that there's different icons for the board. So that way you know what kind of board you have. You also have options like exporting your board to Excel or duplicating your board. You can also archive it or delete it. Up here, you can see who is on your board. So which people on your team. This is a shareable board. So here I have the people on my team. And if I want to invite a guest, I can invite a guest from here. Now, up here, you have a few different things. I'm going to start with automations and integrations. Essentially, what automations and integrations are is a way to automate things on your board. Integrations, the general rule is with third-party tools, and automations is within your board specifically. So if I click on Create, you can see here that there's a lot of different types of pre-built recipes. So for example, when an item is created, assign a creator as a person. Or when a date arrives, notify someone. I simply click on it. I need to fill in everything that's grayed out. So here I would need to fill in the time. I need to choose my date column. And then I need to fill in what actually happened. So here I want to notify me. And let's just say I want to say this item is due today. So now I've set up a really basic automation that I have. You have to hit save, and then it will run for you whenever the due date arrives. Here you can see all your different automations on this specific board that are running. And you can also have integrations with other tools. So maybe I want to integrate with Gmail that says when this happens, automatically send out an email. Now, some of the newer features that Monday has is they have something called AI agents. Now, you can create an agent to do something on your board. So you would create an agent and say, let's just say, scan my board and give me a list of everything that's due today, or automatically update all the statuses. Like you're basically the agent you have to think of as one of your team members, and they can do something. Obviously, you need to give them context. You need to tell them what to do, but the agents can help you out in exactly what you need to do. Now, if we jump up here, I'm going to start with my avatar. And here you can see that I have my profile. So if I want to make any changes to my profile, add my email, update things, set my notifications, this is critical because everyone gets too many notifications and no one knows where to find them. You can do that all in your profile section. Then here I have a bunch of other options. The most critical ones that I'm going to touch on is administration, because if you're an admin, that's where you understand everything going on with your Monday account. It also has your billing, who's on your team, and all different team settings that you can set. You can create different teams, which is basically instead of assigning a person, you'll assign different teams. You have a resource directory, there's an app marketplace, and Monday also has a mobile app that you can use. This is the basics of how you can use Monday. Even if you set it up using AI, this is the basics of the structure. Now, let's jump into a few outliers because they don't actually fit into like a standard box of Monday. But what you have here is I have a few other options. I can create a form. Now, a form actually lives on a board, so I can also create it from this view, but it's just easier to do it from here. I also can create a document. Like Monday basically has like Word or Google Drive within Monday. So I can create a document. I can easily connect it to an item. I can create a dashboard. Remember that dashboard that we created here? I can create a dashboard over here and connect it to different boards. And then you also see some of Monday's newer AI options like Magic AI Solution, Monday Vibe. One other thing that Monday recently released is something called workflows. Now, what workflows is it's essentially automations, but it's a lot more complicated. If you look at this image here, you can see some of the options of how complicated you can build something. The way that it works is you need to start with a trigger. So let's do the same thing that we did before, like when date arrives. And here I need to choose my board. So as opposed to the other one, which automatically happens on a board, here I need to choose it. I'm going to choose my column and I fill out the information. But what's great about this is I have a lot more options. I can either follow up with an action, do an if-else statement, do a multi-branch connection. I can wait for an event, or I can set up a delay. You can't do most of these options within automation. So workflows is just much more powerful. Depending on your plan, you get different amounts of workflows. Now, as I said, all of these things are on the left side of your board. So here you have your table of contents of everything that is within your boards. You also can add favorites. So let's just say I want to favorite this. I simply click add to favorites. And when I go here, you can see that I have my favorites. Again, I have the Monday AI. I have something called My Work. This is essentially a place that pulls in all your tasks. I'm not going to open it because I have too many boards connected. There is a limitation on boards and I just have too many connected, so it takes forever to load. And you can see that there's a few more options. You have a template center. You have to see your recent boards. You have the autopilot hub, and you can see different apps. But essentially what Monday is at the core is its boards. That's where all your data is kept. It's almost like a database. And then on top of that, you can build out your board so that way you can see everything clearly. You can build out your boards to have automations on top of it, or integrations, or have your AI agents working on it. But it's critical to understand the different terminology of boards, products, different types of things that you can build within Monday. I'd love to hear how you're using AI to build out your boards. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and remember to subscribe to receive tips and tricks on how to use Monday.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.